Yeah, it's been a struggle the last years, and yeah, this is maybe my last year, so I'm trying to enjoy it.
They'd be sad to hear that this could be your last time.
Yeah, it's sad for me as well.
Jelle Klaasen has medication that lets him throw darts close to the player he used to be. On the 18th of May, 2026, the 2006 BDO World Champion told Modus this was the last time he could use it, and that without a treatment in the next few months, 2026 is probably his last year in the sport. The comparison he drew to explain why should worry every Dutch darts fan watching, because the player he named has already been forced to throw left-handed just to keep going. We have a former world champion telling the public, in his own words, that he is running out of road, with no clarity on whether that road ends in a comeback or a goodbye. To understand why a 41-year-old former world champion is having this conversation in the first place, you have to rewind almost 10 years back to a wrist that started failing in late 2016 and the body that, by his own admission, has been going downhill ever since. Here are his words to Modus, exactly as they were given. I think since 2017 it is going downhill. At the time, I didn't know what was going wrong, but I think a lot of people know what is happening with Jules van Dongen. It is probably the same with me, but he has got it in his hand and I have got it in my arm. That single line should stop every darts fan in their tracks. Jules van Dongen, the Dutch-American who plays out of California, received his diagnosis in 2025, and it was focal dystonia, a rare and incurable neurological disorder that triggers involuntary muscle contractions in the throwing hand. Van Dongen described the condition to the Dutch newspaper AD as a short circuit in your hand, and the result was a switch to throwing left-handed because no cure exists. Klaasen comparing himself directly to that condition suggests whatever is wrong with his arm sits in the same family of problems, with the brain telling the muscles to move and the muscles refusing to listen. No public diagnosis has been given for Klaasen, and he has not named the condition himself. The comparison alone matters though, because for years he described his issue mechanically as tendinitis, cartilage damage, a wrist that needed surgery. Almost a decade on, his framing has shifted to neurological. That fed straight into the line that built the headline. It has been a struggle the last few years, and this is maybe my last year. So, I am trying to enjoy it. I always want to play well, and it is frustrating when your body does not work the way you want it to work. It doesn't matter how many hours I practice, that is not going to change the problem with my arm. What followed was a cliffhanger of an admission. I have some medication that makes me play a little bit better, but this is the last time I can use it. It's sad for me as well. I am going to enjoy this week, and hopefully in the next few months I will find a treatment that works. Otherwise, it will probably be my last year. Which medication? He didn't say. Why he can no longer use it? He didn't say. What treatment he is searching for? He didn't say. The interview leaves far more open than it closes. As of the writing of this video, not a single Dutch outlet has picked up the story, with no coverage from NOS, none from AD, nothing in Telegraph, nothing in North Brabant. The PDC has stayed silent, and there has been no reaction from Michael van Gerwen, no comment from Raymond van Barneveld. The biggest career announcement of Klaasen's life is sitting in front of a darts world that has not yet noticed. To understand what is at stake here, you need to understand who Jelle Klaasen used to be. Born on the 17th of October 1984 in Alphen, in the Dutch province of North Brabant, Klaasen worked at a Dutch temp staffing agency before darts paid the bills. Dutch amateur tournaments became his proving ground in 2003. By 2005, he was making his international debut at the Windmill World Masters, where he lost 2-3 to an Irish player called Steve McDonald. At that point, he was nobody. The 15th of January 2006 changed everything. Lakeside Country Club, Frimley Green, Surrey, the BDO World Championship final. Klaasen walked in as a 100-to-1 outsider with the bookmakers, with no BDO ranking to his name. Across the oche stood Raymond van Barneveld, four-time world champion, world number 1, the reigning Lakeside winner chasing Eric Bristow's record of 5 titles. Klaasen beat him 7 sets to 5. 21 years and 90 days old that night, Klaasen became the youngest BDO world champion in history. Master Caller logged viewing figures showing almost 1 in every 3 people living in the Netherlands tuned in for that final, the largest darts television audience in Dutch history. The match also stands as the first and only Lakeside final ever played without a British player on stage. To reach it, Klaasen had beaten Dennis Harbour, world number 1 Mervyn King, Paul Hogan and Sean Greatbatch in the semi-final. A month to the day after that final, Van Barneveld defected from the BDO to the PDC. A year later, in February 2007, Klaasen followed him out the door, joining Michael van Gerwen and Vincent van der Voort in the move. The BDO threatened legal action over Klaasen's remaining contract year, and he went anyway. His PDC career started slowly, with the John McAvoy Gold Dart Classic in November of 2007 giving him his first Players' Championship title. By the end of 2008, he was making his PDC World Championship debut. The night that defined his time as a contender arrived on the 2nd of January 2009 in the quarter-final against Raymond van Barneveld at the Alexandra Palace. Klaasen lost 1-5, and what people remember from that match is what Van Barneveld did in the second leg of the 6th set, hitting 2 maximum 180s before nailing treble 20, treble 19, double 12 for the first 9-dart finish in PDC World Championship history. £20,000 in prize money landed in Van Barneveld's pocket that night. The caller was George Noble, and Van Barneveld's tournament average in the quarter-final came in at 106.68, with Klaasen the man on the receiving end. Later that same year, on the 24th of September 2009, Klaasen hit his own televised 9-darter against Colin Osborne in the Championship League of Darts, with George Noble once again on the microphone. The combination ran treble 20, treble 20, treble 20, then treble 20, treble 20, treble 20, before finishing on treble 20, treble 19, double 12. That perfect leg remains the only televised 9-darter of his entire career. His peak ran from 2014 through 2016. 2014 produced his highest televised average, 108.74, posted in a 6-4 first-round win over James Wade at the Players' Championship Finals. The end of 2015 had him ranked world number 10 on the PDC Order of Merit, his career-high season-end ranking. 2 more Players' Championships fell his way that same year, with finals wins over Ian White 6-2 and Raymond van Barneveld 6-4. What should have been the launching pad came at the 2016 PDC World Championship. Klaasen took out Joe Cullen, then Mervyn King, before beating Phil Taylor 4-2 in the 3rd round, a result that made him the first player in history to win his very next match after eliminating Taylor from a PDC Worlds. Alan Norris fell 5-4 in the quarter-final, putting Klaasen 1 match from a world final. His semi-final opponent was Gary Anderson. Sky Sports wrote afterwards that Anderson produced the first perfect leg of that World Championship, finished with an average of 107 and threw a 9-darter in the opening set, with Klaasen whitewashed 6-0. The defending champion was simply on another planet that night. That match marked the high point of his career. From late 2016 onwards, Klaasen's wrist began to give way. March of 2017 brought a PDC interview headlined "Klaasen Reveals Wrist Struggles," where he laid it out plainly. "I know what I can do and I feel perfect, but I've got the tendinitis in my wrist. I had 2 more anti-inflammatory injections in my wrist this week, and if it's not better in the next 2 months, I need surgery." 2 months later, on the 18th of May 2017, exactly 9 years before the Modus interview that prompted this video, Klaasen had wrist surgery in the Netherlands. The German outlet Darten.de pulled the actual diagnosis out of him afterwards, with Klaasen revealing the problem was cartilage and meniscus damage in the wrist, not simple tendinitis. The 2017 Premier League was running in parallel. Klaasen finished 9th with 1 win all campaign against Dave Chisnell and a tournament average of 91.81. Years later, his double top podcast reflection cut to the bone. "That did me more harm than good. I was down with tendinitis then and through every game in particular pain. Regularly I was on stage with tears in my eyes." His follow-up went deeper. "That same year I got another cortisone shot in my wrist, but the pain only got worse. Afterwards, I went into a downward spiral. I then had surgery, but after that, I played in pain for months. I lost all my confidence and even lost at local tournaments to players I normally always win from." The end of 2021 brought the loss of his PDC tour card after 14 consecutive years, sending him back to the WDF. Most casual fans miss what happened next because Klaasen was good there. The Dutch Open fell his way in June of 2022. The Irish Open followed in November. By the close of 2022, Klaasen ranked WDF World number 1. The 2023 WDF World Championship semi-final at Lakeside ended in a 3-5 loss to Chris Landman. On the 12th of January 2024, in Kalkar, Klaasen regained his PDC Tour card at European Q School, beating Benjamin Drew Royce 6-5 in the deciding match and sealing it with an 11-darter. Just over a year on, the 18th of February 2025 took him to his first PDC Pro Tour final in a decade at Players Championship 3 in Rosmalen. The loss to Chris Dobie came in at 8-4, but for the first time in years the comeback looked real. None of it held. The end of 2025 took the tour card away again after Klaasen failed to win the November tour card holder qualifier. 2026 began with him ranked around 101st on the PDC Order of Merit, holding 2-year prize money of about £34,750. The PDC Challenge Tour in Milton Keynes has been his main stage this year, with averages mostly sitting in the 68 to 87 range. The Modus Super Series has been the other, and in late February 2026, Klaasen won Series 13, Week 9, beating Chris Landman 4-0 in an all-Dutch final. That is the world he gave the interview in. A 41-year-old former world champion with no tour card, no World Championship qualification since 2021, grinding the Challenge Tour and the Modus League, telling the camera that he has medication which helps but that he can't use it anymore, that he is searching for a treatment that may or may not exist, and that if he doesn't find one, this is probably his last year. The Van Dongen comparison is the part that haunts. If Klaasen is right, if what he has is the same family of neurological problem that has forced Van Dongen to switch throwing hands, then practice will not fix it. Tendons can heal with time, and cartilage can be operated on. But focal dystonia, the medical literature is brutally clear on this point, does not respond that way. Klaasen knows it too. His own words spelled it out plainly enough. It doesn't matter how many hours I practice, that is not going to change the problem with my arm. This leaves him in a strange place. He has not retired. He has not announced the final tournament. His own words committed him only to enjoying this week, searching for a treatment, and seeing what the next few months bring. The career end is conditional. The career itself is on the edge. 20 years and 4 months after walking out at Lakeside as a 100-to-1 nobody and walking off as the youngest world champion the sport had ever seen, Jelle Klaasen is sitting in front of a Modus camera saying his body has stopped listening. There is no plea for sympathy in the interview. No blame gets thrown at anyone. His ask, in the plainest terms he can find, is for a treatment that works. If he finds one, the Cobra throws again next season. Without it, 2026 becomes the year his career ended. The only person who really knows which way this goes is the man holding the darts.